The military has taken charge of the government. Generals are calling the shots. Soldiers are ruling the streets. Democratically elected leaders are in jail. People are protesting. They're demanding freedom, but they're getting bullets. What's happening in Myanmar is a coup. There is no doubt about it. But the United Nations Security Council, the world's highest body for international peace, is not calling it a coup. In its latest statement, the UNSC has condemned what's happening in Myanmar without describing it as a coup. Why? One report blames India, Russia, China and Vietnam for this. It says these countries insisted on the removal of any reference to a coup. So did India side with Russia and China in favor of Myanmar's generals? Come to think of it, what is India's position? Where does India stand on what's happening in Myanmar? What are India's calculations? How is Delhi walking the diplomatic tightrope in responding to the latest challenge in the neighborhood? Tonight on Gravitas, we'll discuss that in our cover story. First, look at the statement from the United Nations Security Council. It came out yesterday. This is being called the strongest statement yet. It expresses, quote-unquote, deep concern about the detention of Aung San Suu Kyi and others. It condemns the violence against peaceful protesters. It calls on the military to exercise, quote-unquote, utmost restraint. It supports the democratic transition in Myanmar, but it doesn't call what's happening in Myanmar a coup. The question again is why? Why can't the Security Council call a spade a spade? Why can't they call it a coup? Because members of the Security Council did not agree with that description. One agency report says there was lack of consensus. It claims China, Russia, India and Vietnam suggested amendments and they pushed for the removal of the term coup. Sources in New Delhi say this report is misleading and that it does not reflect the reality. Look at this statement from last month now. It was made by the Indian representatives at the United Nations. Two quotes here are noteworthy. One, India said it was deeply concerned that the gains made by Myanmar on the path of democracy should not get undermined. Quote number two, as the largest democracy, India has been steadfast in its support for Myanmar's democratic transition. Since the coup on the 1st of February, India has issued several statements. Indian diplomats and lawmakers have spoken on Myanmar and they've all focused on three main points. Number one, India supports the restoration of democracy in this country. Number two, India calls for the release of the political detainees. And number three, India is concerned about the repatriation of Rohingya refugees. India has at no point supported the coup like some other countries have, and yet India has not called it a coup. What does one make of this? India's position is clear. It is committed to democracy, but it cannot afford to alienate the military. It must strike a balance, and this is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of pragmatism. We can give you reasons. Reason number one, there is a security dimension here. India shares a long land and sea border with Myanmar, more than 1,600 kilometers on land. India also shares a security relationship with Myanmar. It needs support from Myanmar to deal with insurgent groups in the northeast. Reason number two, India's investments, infrastructure projects that would connect India to ASEAN countries in the east. India cannot jeopardize them. The list includes the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway and the Kaladan multimodal transit transport network. There is also a plan for a special economic zone at the Sitwe deepwater port. Reports say around $1.7 billion have been spent in development partnership with Myanmar. India must protect these projects. And this is not just about money. There is more at stake here. There is the threat of growing Chinese influence. India's exit would be China's win. In recent years, Indian projects in Myanmar have been targeted by insurgent groups. In October last year, there were attacks near the Kaladan project. The Arakan army was behind these attacks. They were allegedly using Chinese weapons to target Indian assets. This must be avoided to secure long-term interests. India's infrastructure projects are an effective counter to China's growing influence. Isolating the military could force the generals of Myanmar to cozy up to Beijing. It will not overturn the coup. It would only damage India's interests in the region. India's relationship with Myanmar has been a long balancing act, in fact. In 1988, India had supported the protest groups led by Aung San Suu Kyi. But when the situation at the India-Myanmar border worsened, Delhi reached out to the military. In the mid-1990s, India and Myanmar launched joint operations against insurgents in the northeast. In the decades that followed, India remained in touch with the military establishment while pushing for a democratic transition. Then came a major step forward in the year 2017. A military agreement was signed between India and Myanmar. So far, they'd collaborated on counter-insurgency operations. With this agreement in 2017, the two countries agreed to train Myanmar's armed personnel in India. The relationship got a boost. Last year, New Delhi made another crucial outreach. India's Foreign Secretary and Army Chief made a joint visit to Myanmar. They met Aung San Suu Kyi. India's Army Chief held separate talks with the military establishment. 2020 saw a lot of progress. India also gifted a submarine to Myanmar. With this move, India was stepping up its defense engagement with the neighbor. This was significant because Myanmar's military chose to go with Indian defense equipment instead of Chinese. It was an attempt to reduce dependence on Beijing. Now, this has been a gradual coming together. The coup is going to be a challenge, but it should not become a roadblock. It should not be allowed to become a roadblock. It should not reverse the gains made so far, and yet the road ahead is not going to be easy for India here. Another major challenge awaits New Delhi on the 1st of April. That's when a virtual summit of the BIMSTEC will be held. BIMSTEC, as you know, is a regional grouping. Sri Lanka is hosting this virtual summit. India is its largest member. And it has invited Myanmar's new foreign minister to attend, the one appointed by the military junta. Will India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar share a stage with him? That would mean India giving legitimacy to the military takeover. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.